So now we're going to look at another case of qualitative variable analysis. We're going to look at how to present ordinal variables. Remember, we saw how to present categorical variables. Now we're going to look at ordinal variables. Remember the difference between an ordinal variable and a categorical variable. It is in the nature of the responses. When we have an ordinal variable, the responses can be ordered in some kind of a logical way. We'll look at two examples to do that. So in my automobile survey, in the module of analysis, from the preview menu, I go into new analysis menu, and I'm going to select the variable that is called power. Now, this variable in the questionnaire, the question was, what is the horsepower of your car? And there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different types of responses. The first response is less than 4 horsepower. Second one is 4 to 5 horsepower, and so on and so forth, until the fifth response, which was 10 horsepower and more. Now, this type of variable is a qualitative variable. It's also a type of categorical variable, if you like, but it is an ordinal variable in the sense that the responses can be ordered in a logical way. For less than 4 horsepower is a car that has an engine that is smaller than 4 to 5 horsepower, which is still smaller than 6 to 7, and so on and so forth. So it is the different modalities, the different types of responses that should be ordered in the way that it is presented both in a table and in a chart. Now, in this case, for this question, because I have non-responses, I'm going to tick off the ignore non-responses. And so I am left over with only the 5 categories of horsepower. And I am going to leave the responses, the table, such as this. I am not going to sort the rows as we did with the ordinal variable. We are not going to sort the rows as we did with the categorical variables. When we look at the chart, so Sphinx suggests to use a pie chart. This could be an option. It's not a bad option because we don't have that many categories, but personally I find that when you have an ordinal variable, a better way to present the results is to use a vertical bar chart. So something like that, or if you want to have something a bit more original, you can use a 3D bar chart, and of course you have to apply the changes. Okay, so here it's something that is a bit more original, but what is important is that the horizontal axis is sorted in the way that it appears that the responses appear in the questionnaire. So what is important here is that the horizontal axis reflects the order of the ordinal variable. So this is for variable number 7, which is an ordinal variable. Now let's take another example, which is the example of the scales. We have the question here on the performances, where people were asked to indicate their level of agreement with different characteristics of performance of the car. And as you can see, this is what is called a scale question. We have a table with the various characteristics that appear in the questionnaire. But we have a little plus here. So if you click on the plus, you see that you have all the individual questions that appear. All these individual car characteristics appear. Let's click on characteristic number 12, so the speed. We have the table. You see in the table the responses, they go from not at all to absolutely. And we go from not at all, rather not, moderately, rather yes, and absolutely. So we want to keep this order in the table. It is very important if you want to have some kind of relevance in the way that you present the data. So here we have, again, our horizontal chart. I'm going to use the more traditional vertical chart. And this is a very clear way of presenting the results, where we see that the moderately, I don't even have to look at the way that the responses are labeled. I know that the middle one is moderately. So when you have an ordinal variable, remember, you keep the order of the responses and you don't use here the option of sorting the rows like we did. This is only for the categorical variables that we sort the rows. Remember also that all your analysis, your personal analysis, can be exported in a Word file, and so that you can cut and paste the results from this file where you only have the results for one question. You can cut and paste them and put it in your report. So this is how you analyze ordinal variables.